On my 60th birthday there were no warm wishes, no joyful celebrations, just chaos. My husband, Robert, saw me as a nuisance and my son, Daniel, cared only about money. They didn't even bother to save me a single bite of the cake I had made with my own hands. And when I finally said the words, "I want a divorce," they laughed. "You're 60, Mom. No savings, no retirement fund. Where could you possibly go?" They thought I would back down. But in the end, not only did I divorce Robert, but I also claimed what was rightfully mine. With my best friend Liz, I embarked on a brand new life. I hit the road, filmed short videos, and unexpectedly became an online sensation, earning more money than they had in a lifetime. And as for Robert, who once believed I couldn't survive without him, he ended up sick and alone. As for Daniel, the son who had shown me nothing but indifference, he was stunned when he found out how much I was making, but by then all he could do was regret. They said I'd come to regret my decision. But here I stand on the side of the highway, the sun warm on my face, the wind whipping through my hair, carrying nothing but freedom. 60? So what? My life is only just beginning. Mom, you're 60. Why are you talking about divorce? Can't you just live out the rest of your life in peace? I sat silently on the couch, staring at the wreckage around me. Broken dishes, toppled chairs, remnants of the birthday cake I had so carefully prepared. Daniel stood before me, seething. "If you divorce Dad, what will Emily's family think of me? Can't you stop being so selfish?" Selfish? I had been gone for 7 hours today. Not once had my husband or my son called to check on me. In the bitter December wind of San Francisco, my coatless body had shivered from the cold. And now that I was back, was I met with concern? No, only blame. "Mom, you ran away from home over a stupid birthday party? Dad and I ate the meal you cooked, didn't we? What more do you want?" Robert rose from the couch, his voice dripping with disdain. "So, you finally realized you've got nowhere else to go? Quit standing around and clean this mess up. And your shoes, leaving them everywhere, making the place filthy. You've ruined my whole damn day." I looked at him, my fingers unconsciously tightening around the hem of my sweater. Not once did they acknowledge that today was my birthday. Not once did they care that I had wandered the freezing streets for hours. Not once did they ask if I was okay. They didn't care. About anything. And the cruelest part? They had forgotten. They were the ones who had overturned the table and thrown me out. I lowered my gaze to my wrinkled hands. A chill settled deep into my bones. "You really think this is a good life?" Daniel's face darkened. He exhaled sharply, his tone slightly softened. "Come on, Mom. It's late. Everyone made mistakes today. Let's just drop it, okay?" I took a deep breath, my voice calm and unwavering. "I want a divorce." His expression shifted in an instant, his eyes flashing with disbelief. Robert shot up from his seat, jabbing a finger at me, his face twisting in fury. "Divorce? Fine. But where the hell do you think you're gonna go? You're 60. No savings, no pension. How are you gonna survive without me?" Daniel scoffed. "Yeah, Mom. I just started working. I can't afford to support you. Yesterday I might have locked myself in the bathroom and wept in silence. But today I just felt numb. You don't have to worry about me. I'll be just fine. I just want out." 30 years of marriage. No job. Every penny under Robert's control. And every word out of his mouth sharper than a knife. "If it weren't for me, you'd be homeless. Look at yourself, short, plain, can't even cook properly. An old woman like you. No one would want you but me." Once I would have swallowed the pain and told myself to endure. But tonight I simply met his gaze. Silent. Unmoved. Robert hadn't expected me to show no reaction. He faltered, his anger momentarily caught in his throat before he slumped back onto the couch, face dark with frustration. Daniel still couldn't understand. "Mom, seriously? Over a birthday? Is that really worth all this?" He let out a sigh, rubbing his temples. "Fine. Then how about I throw you a party tomorrow? Will that make you happy?" I looked down at the shattered remains of my birthday cake. Was it really about the birthday? Maybe. But it was also so much more than that. Last week, Daniel suddenly told me he wanted to throw me a birthday party. I could hardly believe it. In 60 years, this was the first time someone had ever suggested celebrating my birthday. I was so thrilled that I couldn't sleep properly for days, constantly thinking about what to prepare. I started looking up recipes 3 days in advance, planning to make something special. I didn't want to disappoint my son. When my best friend Liz heard about it, she called me, her voice full of confusion. Wait, you're making the food yourself for your own birthday party? I couldn't help but laugh. Should I ask Robert and Daniel to cook? Those two have never stepped foot in the kitchen. If I relied on them, it would probably be more trouble than just doing it myself. Liz wouldn't let it go. Then why not eat out? What kind of birthday person has to cook for themselves? I sighed. We're not as well off as you guys. Daniel's getting married soon. Everything costs money. I'm a 60-year-old woman. It's not like I need to go to a fancy restaurant to celebrate. When Liz heard this, she immediately offered to pay for everything so I could enjoy the day. I kept refusing, and only after some coaxing did she reluctantly give in. Honestly, I didn't care how the birthday was celebrated. As long as they remembered, I would be happy. This was the first real birthday I'd ever had in 60 years, and it was Daniel who had initiated it. I was so happy that I couldn't even sleep. At 4:30 in the morning, I got up to start preparing. I moved quietly, careful not to wake Robert. But he still stirred, frowning as he glared at me. Did I wake you? I asked, a little embarrassed but with a hopeful glimmer in my heart. After more than 30 years of marriage, I had hoped the first words he would say to me when he opened his eyes would be, "Happy birthday." But instead he just turned over and lazily muttered, "Why are you making a fuss so early? If you're not going to sleep, can't you at least let someone else sleep? Can't you be more considerate?" I was stunned. I froze for a few seconds, then remained silent. After all, it was my birthday and I didn't want to argue. I tried to shake off my disappointment and headed to the store, buying Daniel's favorite steak and potatoes. I worked non-stop from morning till noon, turning the house into a warm and tidy place. By 11, Daniel finally returned home. As soon as I heard the door unlock, I quickly removed my apron and rushed to greet him. I wondered if he'd come through the door holding a gift saying, "Mom, happy birthday." But his hands were empty. Just yesterday he had posted several photos of earrings on social media and asked in the comments, "Which pair do you think would be good for Mom?" A chill ran through me and my smile froze. Daniel noticed my expression and furrowed his brows. "What's wrong, Mom? Don't you look happy to see your son?" I forced a smile. "Of course I'm happy. Why wouldn't I be?" But I couldn't help myself and asked, "Aren't you going to give me a gift for my birthday? I saw you asking people yesterday which earrings would be best for Mom." He actually laughed. "Mom, you didn't think the earrings were for you, did you? I'm going to Emily's house tomorrow and I'm planning to give them to her mom." I froze. "That gift wasn't even for me." He went on, "Mom, you've always been frugal. You don't need things like this. Besides, Emily's mom is beautiful. Jewelry looks better on her. You're more suited to a kitchen apron." He paused, then added with a grin, "Or maybe I should get you some dishwashing gloves instead. How's that?" He genuinely thought I didn't deserve a bouquet of flowers. I looked down at the sink where I was washing vegetables. The water reflected a face full of wrinkles, sagging skin at the corners of my eyes, and more white hairs woven into my locks. In my son's eyes, I was nothing like Emily's mom. I didn't deserve to receive a thoughtful gift. I had spent the entire day preparing a birthday feast. 8 dishes, every single one of them Daniel's favorites. Appetizers, steak, roasted vegetables, and even a big pot of New England clam chowder that I had painstakingly learned to make just for the occasion. I had even researched plating techniques to make sure everything looked perfect. As Robert passed by the kitchen, he glanced at the table and scoffed. "Is all this really necessary? It's just a birthday." I ignored him and kept working. This was the first real birthday of my life. I wanted it to be worth remembering. By the time I placed the final dish on the table and wiped the flour from my hands, I was filled with anticipation. I picked up the small cake I had made for myself, ready to finally sit down and enjoy the moment. But then I froze. The table was nearly empty. The food I had spent all morning preparing had been devoured, leaving nothing but scraps. Daniel glanced at the cake in my hands and frowned. "Mom, that's it? You spent all this time and this is all you made for yourself?" A chill crept into my heart as I turned to look at Robert, only to find the same expression of impatience on his face. But this was my birthday. My first real birthday. I wanted to at least look back on it and remember something happy. Forcing a smile, I tried to joke, "Hey, wasn't this supposed to be my celebration?" The birthday girl hasn't even sat down, and you two have already stuffed yourselves full. I thought it was harmless. Just a light-hearted remark. But Robert's expression darkened instantly. He slammed his fork onto the table and glared at me. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Daniel hardly comes home and now you're saying he shouldn't eat. I was stunned. I quickly tried to explain. I was just joking. But Robert's voice only grew louder, his tone dripping with anger. Joking? 60 years old and still running your mouth without thinking. How can someone be this stupid their whole damn life? His words were like a dull knife, pressing deep into my chest. I opened my mouth but nothing came out. Helplessly I turned to Daniel. He simply waved a hand dismissively. Forget it, Dad. It's Mom's birthday. Let's not argue. Robert fell into an uneasy silence, his expression still cold. The only sound left in the room was the clinking of utensils against plates. Lowering my gaze, I picked up my fork and tried to take a bite of my cake. But then Daniel spoke again. Mom, where's that emerald bracelet? The one Grandma left you. I hesitated, my hand trembling slightly around the fork. Daniel's eyes locked onto mine, a hint of urgency in his gaze. I've looked for it a few times but couldn't find it. Bring it out, Mom. That thing's valuable. It'd sell for a good price. My grip on the fork tightened. Daniel didn't notice my expression. If anything, his excitement only grew. Mom, do you even realize how much emeralds are worth right now? Their market price has skyrocketed. If I sell that bracelet and you and Dad chip in a little more, I can finally buy a house. Emily's family has been pressuring me about it. Once I get the place, we can get married. He grinned, his eyes gleaming with calculation. Her parents are professors, Mom. They're rich. I need to show them I'm serious. I listened to him talk, my fork absent-mindedly stabbing at my cake. The once perfectly shaped slice crumbled into pieces. Every word out of his mouth reeked of greed. Of entitlement. I barely recognized him. Lifting my head, I looked him straight in the eyes and asked, my voice soft, So, you didn't come back to celebrate my birthday. You came back for the bracelet. Daniel's smile faltered. Just for a second. Mom, how could you say that? I came all this way to celebrate with you and now you're doubting my intentions? I wouldn't have asked if I wasn't in a tough spot. Robert let out a low chuckle from the side. Helen, you're his mother. What's the point of hoarding things? Shouldn't you help your son?